Hey there, safety friends. Welcome to the Safety Geek Podcast. Today's conversation is an important one, especially if you work in environments where PPE is considered one size fits all. Now, while we've seen more women enter the skilled trade over the last several years, their access to properly fitting PPE has not kept pace. And this isn't about style or preference, it's about safety and health and retention. Ill-fitting boots can lead to back pain, and loose gloves and vests can get caught in machinery. And too often, women are still expected to work in PPE that was never designed for their bodies or their shapes. I'm really excited to welcome today's guest, Tito Warren. Tito is the president of global sales and distribution for the Red Wing Shoe Company. You know, that company that's known for Red Wing and Works and Irish Setter brands across the globe. Tito is a respected safety leader with deep experience in industrial work environments, with over 30 years of experience in overseas environments. And not just with Red Wing, he has also worked with Campbell Corporation and real estate development firms. He's currently sits on the board of directors and has been volunteering in his community for over 2 decades. So today we are going to talk about why shrink and pink approach to women's workwear is a real safety issue, and why safety professionals can do things differently now, and how investing in the properly fitting PPE can actually be a competitive advantage for many organizations. So Tito, welcome to the podcast. I am so glad you're here. I'm so glad that we were able to finally connect, and I cannot wait to hear about what Red Wing is doing.
Yeah, looking forward to it, and I'm honored to be here. Absolutely.
Awesome. So
Thanks
just
for
tell
the
me a little
invitation.
bit about your background and how you ended up focusing on safety and PPE.
Yeah, so I have, as you called out, I've been with Red Wing for decades, and I came to Red Wing from a completely different industry, but really what I was brought to do originally was develop international markets, right? And that's kind of where I began my journey with Red Wing. And I think at last count, I've been to like 126 countries for Red Wing Shoe Company. A lot of miles, but all of that, obviously in really challenging safety environments. So, as you go outside of Europe and the United States and you go to a lot of these other countries that are developing safety standards and looking at or modeling kind of what is world class, what does that mean? You get involved in really development from the ground up. What does safety mean? And, as a provider of safety solutions, that's really where we get, we're in there with HSC, we're in there with those groups that are developing it and saying, this is why these topics are important, whether it's quality, whether it's, anatomical differences in PPE, fit, shape, all of these different things go into creating what companies do is their spec, right? What is our safety spec going to be?
Yeah, I'm curious. Like, I know here in the States, we are definitely seeing a lot more women entering the trades. Like, we see more women in construction, transportation, oil and gas, even, right? Mining. I've even watched videos of women out on like oil rigs out in the middle of the ocean. Are
Oh,
you
yeah,
seeing that internationally as well?
absolutely. I mean, I would actually say that in a lot of places where, I mean, I think whether it's Europe, the United States in general have been more, not more advanced, but just more progressive in hiring women into a lot of different work environments. The rest of the world is going full tilt at that, right? And it's really a big deal. We've seen it. The biggest change that I've seen is really probably in the Middle Eastern countries, right? And
Okay.
the Middle Eastern countries have really brought in a tremendous amount of women in the workforce. I mean, whether it's working in a rig or, anywhere in the, whether it's trades, any of the industries, it's across everything. And it's great to see. And you're seeing more adaptation to kind of what are world-class standards and why should we do this, right? But, to your point earlier, women in the trades, just in the United States, I think, between 2018 and 2023, 28% increase in women in the trades, specifically trades, right? It's really, I mean, that's a significant jump in a short amount of time.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is. I would say like traditionally women have been put into roles that were lower paying, and some of
Mhm.
these trades are just they're higher paying jobs. So it's nice to see that change. So would you say that like that was the turning point, like 2017, 18, around that time period? Or were you seeing it
No,
go
no,
before
I think Red Wing has, for probably we have developed product and we know that women are in the industry, and it's really more about the size and selection. We know that there is a difference, right? And we've
Yeah.
we've created product to meet those needs. We haven't, I don't think, in the past decades, because of the size of women in the trades was relatively small. We have changed or adapted to that from just a product solution perspective. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, over the last 15, 20 years, our product selection for women has dynamically changed. I mean, really to embrace a lot of what's happening in the United States, but also around the world, right? There's a lot of different things that we have to adjust to make sure that that's all happening the right way.
So, since you've been doing this for so long, let's kind of like look at the journey. So, when did Shrink and Pink like start? Like way back when women were entering the trades, I'm assuming what they typically did was, well, you'll just have to wear a size extra small and we'll throw some pink lettering on it so we know it's yours.
Oh yeah,
Is that
I
how it
remember.
started?
No, really. I mean, I remember product development
Mm-hmm.
briefs where, this goes way, 20 plus years back, where it was, hey, we need a couple of these styles, let's shrink it and pink it. And that was just common terminology back in the day, right? And we have evolved, and it's been great now to, we have products for her, and that's really how we think about it. It's not shrink and pink, it's products for her. What are the environments that she is going to be in? What are the implications of that, safety concerns, all of that, as we develop product for her. Not shrink and pink, it's her.
So when Red Wing started to hear that Shrink and Pink a lot, and you likely saw the opportunity to fill a need in the market, how did you guys start? Like, how did you make sure that you were creating products that would fit her and fit the woman's body?
Well, there's a couple different things. I mean, we have a really dynamic team from product development
Hmm.
that is, you know, her developing for her, right? That's critical. It's not men developing for women. It's women developing, fitting it, seeing if that's right. Does that something that appeals to them? So then it'll appeal to a broader audience. And I think that was foundational, but also going out into the marketplace, and not just thinking about him. It's talking with her, finding out some of the, what is she looking for? What are the things that are important in her job site, and obstacles that we need to overcome? So it wasn't that shrink, pink and shrink and pink. I can't
Hmm.
even use that terminology anymore.
It's a tongue twister.
Yeah, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
But it was not only getting feedback directly from our customer
Mhm.
in the field, but also having developers that were developing it. I mean, that's the magic mix, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So, what are the biggest risks that women face when their PPE just doesn't fit them correctly?
Well, I mean, it goes to a bunch of stuff. I mean, boots too large, you have instability, you have back pain, you have, increased trips, slips, and falls, right? If you're moving around in your footwear, that's the base of everything that you're doing, right? Is your feet. And if that's not planted firmly, or if that's not fitting right, you have risk. You think about loose fitting workwear, you get that snagged in something, it's not ergonomically working with your body, that's a huge risk. Gloves, same thing. It's not, I mean, every aspect of PPE,
Hmm.
there is significant risk or harm that comes to you. But there's obviously more to that. But I've seen and heard of horrible things happening because women were using men's gear and it didn't fit right, and it caused them pain or it put them at risk, right?
Yeah. Do you have any specific examples that you can share just to kind of open up the audience's eyes to why this is so important? And that way
You
they
know,
can possibly use them to sell this idea to their management teams.
I think probably the ones that I kind of reflect on more than anything are clothing being bound, where it's too loose fitting clothing, and
Huh?
working in heavy machinery. I mean, a lot of our business outside of the United States is oil and gas focused. It's E&P, exploration and production.
Hmm.
And so when you get into those environments, those are, you know, your gear is critical. And so having gear that gets caught up in machinery or doesn't fit you the right way. I mean, you think about like an IndyCar driver, and
Oh,
all
yeah.
of everything is fit, form, function, right? I mean, those things are all foundational in their getup. It's the same thing in high risk, extreme condition work, and it's the same methodology, right? And not, like I said, I don't want to like dwell on like, oh, somebody got their arm ripped off or something like that.
Mhm.
Uh, I can't remember something that bad, but you hear stories out in the field of people having significant problems, right? Especially with clothing, slipping, tripping, and falling, not having the right gear. I mean, that's a constant, right? That's a constant thing that you hear, and
Mhm.
our feedback. You got to even men or women wearing not proper fitting gear is just a general risk, right? Get the right gear.
Yeah. I actually had an employee one time, not at my location, but at a sister location, that got their glove caught in a conveyor belt. And it was not an ill-fitting glove, so it doesn't match this exactly. But it was caught in the conveyor belt and they kept pulling to try to get their hand out, and it literally pulled their finger off. And
Yeah.
it was a great teaching opportunity for our entire organization. But that's what it kind of reminds me of. So I can like see not just harm to the worker, but also harm to the equipment. So let's say it's loose fitting gloves, likely that glove will get pulled off, but now that glove is into the machinery and it's causing problems in the machinery, right? So you have that aspect of it too. But obviously, if it's a tighter fitting or they're wearing a jacket or boots or anything, then it's going to hurt the person as well.
Well, I think that you get into even the question around productivity. When you
Yeah.
have really good fitting gear and you are comfortable, you work longer, you work better, right? I mean, I
Yeah.
think that that's just kind of a natural for the call out to make sure your gear's right, all
Yeah.
the time. Make sure you're going to be more comfortable. You're not going to feel whatever you know whatever you went through in a hard day of work. You're not going to feel it as bad
Hmm.
if you have good fitting gear, right?
Yeah.
And so it's just foundational. It's just foundational.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So I have not looked at Red Wings pricing in a while because I train safety managers now and don't run a program, but I have had your boot truck come out to my facility before.
Good.
I am curious though, so on your women's line of PPE, is there much of a price difference? Is that an argument that some of the employers are making?
It can be, but I think that we have products that span, right? We don't make junk, so we're not. That's just not our wheelhouse. We don't make price point products that are way down low.
Mhm.
And I would just say you get what you pay for. I mean, I'm a firm believer in that. I think about when I buy outdoor gear, I buy it because I never want it to fail. So you know, I spend top dollar for my gear, and because I know that if it fails out in the woods or where I'm at, wherever I'm at, I can't just go down the street and get it fixed. I need
Right.
it to function. And I think coming back to the price point on Red Wing, Red Wing is a premium brand. We use premium materials. Everything we do, again, coming back to fit, form, function is to provide workwear, footwear to be part of your body, right? I mean, it's just
Hmm.
like it's an extension of you, and you shouldn't know that it's even on, right?
Right.
So yeah, are we expensive? Yeah. And you
Yeah.
get what you pay for because
Yeah.
it can last you a lifetime, and it will provide, you're paying for it to provide
Mhm.
something, and we do that, right? Every time.
Yeah. So one of the ways that I sold it to my employees, because at the time, the way that my safety boot program worked was they got an allowance, but we brought the boot truck out. And if you bought from the boot truck, we gave you a higher allowance. And the way that I sold it to the employees, like, yes, you can go to Walmart and you can buy the Walmart brand of safety shoes, but guess what? You're going to have to buy another pair in 3 months. And I think that that is the argument that we need to make to our management teams is I loved how you brought up productivity because I'm all about like how can I sell this to my management team and how can I give them a return on investment for what they're spending their money on. And
Absolutely.
yeah, so like what our people can do is talk about like, no, we don't want to buy our gear from the Walmart of PPE. We want to buy a premium brand because one, it's going to last longer. So that way we're not spending as much money on it. It's going to increase productivity because the premium brand is going to fit better than the cheap Walmart brand, which is probably one size fits all and still using shrink and pink. And we want to make sure that we're improving our employee morale because they're going to be happier employees when they are in nice gear. And
Yep.
and on top of it, you're going to improve compliance because people like to wear PPE that fits well. Like
No,
they don't argue
no,
with you about putting it on.
you're right. No, you're right. I mean, I have thrown out the concept around, if you're going to buy PPE, and so I got three boys, right? One is in
Yeah.
the trades, love it, absolutely love it.
Hmm.
And when you go as a safety manager, and it's your kid that's going out onto a construction site, what are you going to buy him? Are you going to buy him the cheapest stuff? Or are you going to protect your child with the best stuff you can afford?
Yeah.
It's the same concept, right?
Hmm.
It's the same. What are you telling your people, or how much are you caring about them? I'm going to put my kid in the best gear that I can put him in. I want him protected. I want him to be comfortable, and this is what you're going to have. Well, why wouldn't you treat your people, your most important asset, the same way,
Yeah.
right? I want my people in the best gear there is, and we have a lot of companies that just say, I want the best gear there is, period,
Hmm.
because that is a critical thing to us. Morale, cost of a slip, trip, fall. I mean, all of the cost of an incident is is horrible, right? But at the that's a side note to, you're protecting a human being. What would you
Yeah.
put your kids in, right?
Yeah. And the cost of the incident is not just the workers' comp claim. It's not just the lost time. There's so many things that stack up when somebody is injured because like productivity stop for that little amount of time times how many employees were actually working. And then the replacement employee is not going to be as productive as that current employee. There's just like so many things, plus the employee morale issue and the customer reputation issue, all of those things stack up that can make a very small accident actually like balloon in cost when you add it all up.
No, 100%. And there's also that point of, you can buy all this stuff, but if you don't train your people how to use it or what to look for, I mean, that's on a manager too, right? you
Yeah.
you gotta, all of that cost is great. You can wrap your head around what would happen if it fails, but don't go into it without making sure, well, I bought great gear, I got to train, make sure that they know how to use the gear, and
Hmm.
that way all of those costs that you're talking about, you're minimizing. Every time you do that, you're minimizing some of that effect to your company, right?
Yeah. So you said that you've worked with companies that were just like, I want to buy the best for my people.
Oh yeah.
Can you talk about how that company's culture was? And do you know if any of those companies saw like definitely like a reduced incident rate because they had that attitude of I put my people in the best?
Not only did they have reduced incident rates, they had higher morale. They were active and engaged with us in developing solutions for men and women, right? Both sides.
Yeah.
And they were fundamental in getting us down that road of, hey, if I want the best. As a matter of fact, we're going to put you out on a rig and we want you to be out there with us. We're going to help develop a boot for a rig. We have rig
Nice.
boots that are developed by a company for them, right? And they were that active, and a relatively speaking custom product for a very harsh environment. They
Mm-hmm.
were serious about it. We want the best gear for our people, and it's the same thing even on the fight. We sell the vast majority of our workwear is fire retardant, right? And
Yeah.
it's the same thing. It's you got to make sure that number one that it's performance, it's performance, it's performance, and then we'll build in the functionality because that's the last line of defense, right? I can do all of this different stuff. PPE is the last line of defense.
Yeah. Yep. So,
So yeah, companies, it is, there's many companies that have joined us on that journey and we love it, right? We love that engagement. We need that engagement, whether it's workwear or footwear or some of the other products that we're involved in. But yeah, we want them along the ride because they see value in providing the best gear for their people and they can help us. It's a solution.
yeah. So, what I can see happening in somebody's workplace who's listening to this right now is that they're a safety professional, so they are 100% on board. They're like on Team Red Wing here, right? Like they're like, this is what I want, but they don't necessarily have the skills to sell it to their management team. Their management team might be like, no, we don't really need it. We don't see that it's worth it. Could that safety professional call in a representative to help them work out like exactly what that company needs and basically sell it to their management team to invest in it?
100%. And I my team prides itself on, we sell boots, but we don't sell boots. We sell solutions, right? And
Yeah.
so I don't want to be a vendor. I want to be a partner. And that's the kind of attitude that you're going to get from Red Wing when you engage with us to say, hey, come on out here and help us develop a spec. We develop specs all over the world, right? We don't have a safety program. We can help you develop that. We sit at the table with you and we'll help you through that. And at the end of the day, whether you buy our products or not, at least you have a standard, right? You've
Yeah.
set something in stone that says this is kind of where we want to be. And ideally, we hope that we're a part of that solution. But if we're not, we're not. But we have done our partnership to you in helping you develop that program or sell it upstream or downstream, whatever that is, to make sure that your people are in the right stuff.
Yeah. I hope everybody hears that because I know that that's something so many safety professionals struggle with is that, they're still learning to influence their management teams. They're still learning how to market safety to their management teams and to the employees and to get people engaged. But you really need to partner with your suppliers because they are a wealth of knowledge. And
What we
on
do.
top of it, they can back you up. So it's not just
Yep.
you saying it, it's this other professional saying it with I'm assuming some scientific research behind it too, right?
There's a ton. And, we bring in people to teams, to our labs, and to our factories. I mean, all of that helps develop that recognition of and value of what you are going to embark on with safety, right? And why this is proven, right? All of this stuff, this will help you understand the terminology. I mean, all of the standards that are out there. And, I
Yeah.
deal with global standards, EN, ASTM. I mean, there are
I
so many
couldn't even
standards out there.
imagine.
Yeah,
I don't even
there's so many,
try.
but we can help you navigate through that, right? I mean,
Yeah.
my team prides itself on being able to do that, help you understand the standards.
Hmm.
That's your baseline, right? We're going to set that foundation, and we'll build from there. What do you need? Fit, form, function. Embrace all of that into a safety protocol and build a safety culture, right? That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, it's amazing in the oil and gas industry. I mean, there is a safety culture, and
Yeah.
it's rugged, and it's
Hmm.
really and this can be from places that you couldn't find on a map to, Houston. That industry has really gone down the road in creating safety culture, driving it, implementing it around the world. It doesn't matter where you are, we all ring the same bell for safety, right? That's
Yeah.
that's the deal.
That's a very high hazard industry. Do you think that contributes
Oh yeah,
to how,
100%.
yeah. So how could
100%.
somebody who maybe isn't in that type of industry, like maybe they are in a pharmaceutical manufacturing plant,
Yep.
or they're running like a mom and pop shop carpentry business, like how could that safety manager start building their culture and their engagement?
Well, I mean, as we just talked about, you get to ride along for free with Red Wing, right? I mean,
Yeah.
the reality of it is we deal with all aspects, right?
Hmm.
And so you get to use and harvest the information that we have, and that we've dealt with 60, 100, 200,000 employees, companies, and you're a 50, 100, a 300 employee. Guess what? You get to ride for free, right? You get all of that information,
Hmm.
and we'll help you do that. We're happy to do that.
Yeah. And it's definitely helpful to do that because like you have to do a PPE hazard assessment once a year, right? Like the formal hazard assessment. And every so often bringing in a supplier like Red Wing to come in and help you and make sure that your hazard assessment is accurate is very helpful. And it's something that people should not discount. And they shouldn't be worried about somebody being judgmental over their facility. And like, I don't want to bring somebody in and they might see that we're doing something wrong. It's like they're there to help.
Well, and that's aligning. Is your safety gear aligned with your assessment of hazard, right? Is that coming together to have a solution for that, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of that's where you need your partners in there to say, hey, if we're wearing this,
Hmm.
is that catching all of the things here that we're talking about from a risk assessment?
Yeah.
Is the fit, the form, the function of what I'm wearing, are we aligned? And if we're not aligned, let's adjust, right?
Hmm.
Let's adapt, and let's get the right gear on the right people all the time.
Love that. So, since you've been doing this for so long, I know that you have seen so many changes in PPE and what was available and designed for people. Where do you see PPE going in the future? How do you expect it to evolve over the next 5, 10, 20 years?
I think it just becomes more and more robust. I think that, the what's been fun to watch is kind of the main streeting of PPE. You whether it's your glasses, your jeans that you wear every day,
Yeah.
all of a sudden you're seeing more and more, you know, products that you wear in your everyday life that
Uh,
actually are safety products, right? And so it becomes so much easier to put on safety gear because the goal here is that you don't even know it's safety gear, right? It's just part of what you do. And I'm not saying everybody's going to go out and wear FR shirts and wear steel toe boots all the time, but I'll tell you what, I mean, there's a lot of places that I go to here in the US or in other places where they want their clothing, their kit to be from work to restaurant, so to speak. And so they can wear it, and that
yeah.
that just makes it less onerous on the person to adapt to a safety culture because it's just what I wear. It's comfortable.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like safety wear. So I
Hmm.
think that migration, and there's a lot of companies, great companies that are doing that, not only Red Wing, but really adapting people's everyday wear or adapting safety wear
Hmm.
to reflect everyday casual wear, right? And so
Yeah.
it's not bulky. It's not because I remember, what, 20 plus years ago, you go, oh, I got to wear a FR shirt, or I got to wear my steel toe boots. Well, it's like these big old steel toe boots, and
Mm-hmm.
you got your gear on. Man, I'm telling you, there's places now that you would never know that you have FR clothing on, or you have safety toe athletics on, right? I mean, it's like
Yeah.
you could go run down the street with them, and you wouldn't. It's not a big deal,
Yeah.
right? That's what I love to see, is the evolution
Yeah.
of the safety gear, where it's just not really safety gear anymore. It's advanced day-to-day wear, you know.
Yeah, and you know what? That actually helps our problem as safety professionals that we have all the time, which is getting people to wear their PPE.
Just get it to wear it, right?
I love it. And I love the whole idea. Like one of my biggest things is always like, don't make safety separate. Make it like this is how we do business. Like this is your work uniform. We don't
Right.
need to like be pointing out all the safety features for it to make it feel like it's a different thing. I used to buy FR clothing for my maintenance department, and I just called it their uniform. And they didn't even realize they were wearing it for a while. It was like, yeah, this is why you're wearing it, you know? But I love
Exactly.
that whole combination. And I love the idea of like from work to the restaurant. Like if you can get your employees to be able to not have to change out of their PPE or anything to actually go and meet their family at the ball game or at the restaurant, that makes it even easier for them to want to wear it.
Exactly right. I
Yeah.
mean, and that was always, I think that's what, I mean, you still see that in a lot of different parts of the world, where, putting on safety gear is putting
Mhm.
on safety gear.
Yeah.
It's not like putting on, it's almost like this. I'm putting on you know, a buoyancy, whatever,
Yeah.
a life preserver, right? It's like,
Mhm.
no, you don't have to wear that, right?
Mhm.
And so it's just fun to see how people, you can adapt your manufacturing to lifestyle, and it shouldn't be something that you think about, right?
Yeah.
It's just easy.
I love that. I love that. So if you can change one belief that safety leaders have about PPE, what would it be?
I would come back to the point, probably, about you get what you pay for. That whole
Yeah.
concept that we talked about earlier,
Yes.
right? Is that all PPE is not the same, and you get what you pay for.
Hmm.
And value is important, right? Quality, safety products. I mean, I've seen the gamut of everything, and
Hmm.
I've seen companies that, like, what, this isn't even a safety product. Well, but it was cheap, and it kind of goes back to that whole concept around, if you could change that mentality of, this is your kid.
Yeah.
Would you put your kid in that? Really?
For them to do
Would
that
you?
work. Yeah. Mm.
Right, to do that, would you? And so changing that mentality of, man, you want the best for your people all the time. And I know budget, everybody has to deal with budgets. I get it. I understand that. But what's the most important thing that you have? It's your people, right? It's your people. So protect your people at all costs, relatively speaking, right?
Yeah. I think a lot of it comes down to understanding the risk. Because I don't think like they don't want to protect their people. I think that they don't think the risk is as great as we say it is, or they think that
Yeah,
event
or
isn't going to happen.
no, that's a really good point. Risk, yeah, risk is there all the time in our daily lives, right?
Yeah.
And it's magnified when you get into workforce or into the workplace,
Hmm.
depending on the scenarios. But that concept of, and you can't expect a safety professional to understand the difference between this hard hat and this hard hat, and the materials in this versus the materials in that. So trusting your safety partner is really important, and your safety partner should be versed and be able to explain the differences of what, you want A, B, and C. Well, these are the differences in them, and you're going to make an educated choice. But make an educated choice. Don't just look at the price tag and go, it's okay. Make an educated choice.
I love that point because I've worked with supplier vendors, like the salesperson coming that couldn't tell me the difference. It was basically just selling a product and they did not have any preference over any product over the other. And they were basically like, oh, just test it out yourself. So, like, who you're partnering with is extremely important too. So, I love how you pointed out that you want to make sure that you have trust in that partner and that they're knowledgeable enough to actually explain that difference. And if your partner is not able to do that, that is a red flag, a huge red
Absolutely.
flag. Yeah.
Absolutely. I'd agree.
Yeah. Well, this was a great conversation, Tito. Was there anything else that you wanted to add before we sign off?
I think that I'm just going to come back to the point of, there's a lot of making sure going into it, making sure that don't get just issued PPE.
Yeah.
Just don't take it for granted that, oh, here's your stuff and go wear it. Man, go make sure that what you're wearing fits. Go to a Red Wing shoe store. You've got an unbelievable place there to get fitted for footwear. And so many people don't recognize the importance of being fitted until they go through that experience. And it's like, I had no idea that I was wearing, the wrong size footwear. And
Yeah.
I just took it for granted. I've always done this, and that's just what I did.
Hmm.
And make sure that when you go into get your PPE, whether it's a Red Wing shoe store or another location, put it on, make sure it fits, make sure that, you can move around and do the things that you need to do in it,
Hmm.
because it matters. It really does. Just having general PPE, it's not serving the purpose that it was built for, right? It's
Yeah.
there to protect you. So give it a chance. Make sure it's the right stuff and make sure it fits you well. Fitting is really, really, really important.
Yeah. And like if you went out and you bought product, right? Wear it around your house and do some like household stuff. And before you go and you put it on the work site and it might get damaged or ruined or to the point that you can't return it, right? So like
Right.
that's something that I have done as well. Like every time I get a new pair of boots, I will literally just wear them around my house, not outside, nor anything else. Let's make sure these are fitting right.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
really important. I just, I love to sit in a Red Wing store and you watch people get fitted, and it's a great experience. And I really think that that's something that, as a partner, really pride ourselves on is, that fit, form, and function. You're going to walk in and say, "Hey, I need safety toe boots." First
Yeah.
question out of the mouth should be, "What do you do?"
Yeah.
Let's think
Not
about
what's
the
your
environment.
budget.
No, it's not your, but what do you do? And then we'll get down the road in forming the right solution for you. And so let's sit down. We've got this fantastic 3D, right? Fitting this ultimate fit experience in our stores where it'll do a three-dimensional scan of your foot. It'll test your gait. It'll test your pressure points. And it's going to give you really important information on what's right for your feet. And
Hmm.
hey, man, and unless you're sitting at a desk all day,
Hmm.
being on your feet means something, right? And that is going to be a pain point if you get it wrong.
Yeah.
So get it right and see the professional and get it right.
Yeah.
It's really important.
I love your fitting solution, especially like when you think about young people, they don't think about this kind of stuff. Like, because they're young, they're healthy, they got all the great, muscles already, but then
Well,
you damage.
they've worn
Yeah.
trainers their whole life, right?
Yeah, right. But they damage something. They start like wearing ill-fitting PPE or the bad boots or something like that, and their gait changes and they're straining muscles. That lives with them for the rest of their life. Like I know
Yep,
people that injured their back in their like 21, 22 years old, and I met them when they were 50, and they were still having back problems from that accident when they were in their 20s. So that's what
absolutely.
we're talking about. And I know it's hard with our younger workers to get them to realize that because like brains aren't fully developed sometimes. But
I'm
that
not
is
going to
what
say a
we're
word.
talking
I got three of those things, right? Yeah.
about. That's crazy.
I
Yeah.
mean, as you expand on that and you say, look, by not getting the right footwear, they putting it together that it affects your whole body because this is the platform, this is the foundation,
Mhm.
but it will affect your knees, it will affect your back, it will affect long term. If you don't get this right, it
Mhm.
will hurt you. right?
Yeah.
It will hurt you.
Permanently.
So
Permanently hurt you.
get it right, right? Get it right.
Yeah. And I think I think we as safety professionals and as employers, we owe that to our people. Like you don't want them to be thinking, "Oh yeah, I worked at this crappy job in my 20s and that's why I needed to get this hip replacement in my 40s." So you want to do right by your people. And I always believe that one of the biggest selling points of building employee morale is that it does create a workforce that has the culture that they're going to be more profitable. That organization is going to be more profitable. So it's going to pay for itself. 100%
Well,
pay for itself.
and coming back to, some of the points on the original questions around just women and women's PPE, right?
Mm-hmm.
The whole concept around, having women wear men's gear, whatever, it's how would you want them to feel respected? We have gear for you, not just go take it off the shelf because that's what we got.
Yeah.
This is gear that's designed for women. This is gear that will help you perform, to your greatest potential. Mm-hmm. And I think in recognizing that, I think companies recognizing that and investing in that is really important going forward. I mean, I think that as women become more and more important in the trades, in the workforce in general, making sure that a company has gear for her becomes more and more just to show out of respect, right? Just out of respect. Yeah. And that leads to morale and all of the things that you talk about, safety. But I think just the most fundamental piece of respect is just critical, right?
Yeah, that's awesome. This was a great conversation, Tito. Was there anything else you want to add?
No, I really appreciate the time. I'm honored to be a guest, and I'm here to serve, right?
Yeah, yeah.
All over the world.
I know when we first tried to connect, you were like on the other side of the world.
Yeah, I've got like 2 more. I call them laps, so I take laps around the world, and so
That's awesome.
I've got 2 more laps ahead of me in the next 2 months, and it is another day.
That's great. So if anybody wants to partner with Red Wing, I would assume that all they have to do is go to the website and they can find either their local store or they can fill out a form to have somebody contact them. It's super easy. I know that's what I did when I wanted to have their boot truck come out. It's a great company, and I just love how you guys are revolutionizing PPE. So thank you so much for your time.
Oh, the pleasure's mine. And I got a great team of people that want to help, that really want to be your partner, right? So just ask.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, thanks again.